Yeah, hi Gayatri. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Just 2 minutes. Two minutes. We can get started now. Let's begin the session.
Yeah.
The interest towards exploring things brings us to situations that challenge you in a way you learn from them and then you start excelling at it to help others in the field. I would like to extend a hearty gratitude to everyone for joining us on this session today. Issues that MSMEs and startups face in recent times. This introduction is about two individuals who started off in different fields, and their interest in helping SMEs grow to their finest of potential is what brings them today in our session. I am Nitya Pandey, Social Media Marketing Executive at Hylobiz, your host for today. A little about us. Hylobiz is a business centric fintech platform with active operations in India, UAE, Bahrain, and the US, offering targeted services for professionals, small and medium sized businesses, and big corporate or enterprises, knowing very well the needs of the businesses today. Hylobiz has pre-integrated the top used ERPs in its target markets and also has established partnership with various financial institutions. We also solve the business banking challenges faced by SMEs, unlocking the path to steady business growth. Today, we are being graced by the presence of CA Mr. Mehul Shah, also known as the Startup CA, and partner at Rasheed Shah and Company. He specializes in tax audit, e-filing, tedious issues, internal, and statutory audit. Mr. Mehul is also actively involved with the startup community as mentor, advisor, and community manager, and has actively contributed to the startup ecosystem in Surat by organizing various events in the last 5 years. In today's session, Mehul will also help us highlight the issues faced by businesses in recent times and how technology can help them be right on track. Welcome to the session, Mehul. Would you like to highlight your experience with the startup sector during your pursuit?
Yeah. Thanks, Nitya, for the introduction. So, I'm from Surat, and we have also have an office in Ahmedabad. So, primarily, if I divide my role into two parts, one is as a service provider. As a CA, we help a lot of startups to raise funds, to take care of the due diligence. At the same time, on the social front, I run a co-working called iCowork, and we also run an angel network or IV Growth Angel Network through which we help angel investors make a portfolio into startups. And again, I thank you for inviting me, and we can proceed with the questions.
Thank you. We are also elated to welcome Ms. Gayatri Joshi, Product Manager at Vayana Network, who has closely observed the working of MNCs and SMEs in her career. Gayatri has been in core CA aspects in the initial days of her career, being in constant touch with SMEs. She further highlighted that being interested in finance and tech altogether is what brought Gayatri to Vayana Network. During her career journey, she came across the struggles of being a growing business begins with the lack of a huge team that manages tasks on toes. They do not have a dedicated team to manage their finance functions and hence spend a lot of time filling that gap instead of focusing on growth. This session will focus on exactly that. With the best experience and guidance holders, we have numerous questions for them. It is said that the fourth industrial revolution is underway, and it is the digital revolution. From analog, electronic, and mechanical devices to the high tech digital technologies today, the digital era has escalated long way. Mr. Mehul, what are the challenges that business and entrepreneurs face in the technology information era?
So when we talk about SMEs as well as startup, I feel it is very critical for our SMEs to perform optimally because अगर हम एमएनसीज को छोड़ दें तो काफी मार्केट, बड़ा मार्केट आज मतलब जो बिजनेस का वो एसएमईज और स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस लेते हैं. चैलेंज एक तो ये बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ दिस एंटरप्राइजेस आर प्रोप्राइटरशिप्स. So when we talk about proprietorship, it gives them a limited capital, or to put it broadly, it gives them limited growth capital. So growth के लिए जो capital चाहिए उनके लिए access limited है. That is the first challenge. Second challenge is the technologies keep on changing. So it is very difficult for them to keep pace with the fast moving technologies. हो सकता है कि वो एक टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट करने में जितना टाइम लेते हो तब तक पूरी की पूरी टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हो जाए. So that is the second challenge which I believe they face. The third one is also in relation to technology. When they want to make an in-house team of say IT people, they face a huge challenge of the attrition, because when we talk about IT people, MNCs में जो मतलब जो पे स्केल है या जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, सो वो सेम अपॉर्चुनिटीज MNCs SME सेक्टर को भी देनी है. So they might look for ESOPs, they might look for, so they have to keep on innovating even as far as retention of the employees is concerned. So that is also one of the challenge which SMEs generally face. So Nitya, just to clarify, like, is the internet proper, or should I connect with the like? अभी मैं Wi-Fi use कर रहा हूँ, तो do you want me to connect to a proper internet, or is it okay?
The internet is okay. It's clear, visible clearly. We are good to go. So there's solutions and multiple options available for the technologically advanced participants nowadays. How do you think technology is driving change in the cash management solutions nowadays?
So when we talk about cash management, first of all, we need to refer that what are the financial statements, या कौन सी मिनिमम चीज़ों की ज़रूरत पड़ती है. अगर कोई फाउंडर मुझे पूछता है, कोई प्रोप्राइटर पूछता है that what should be the minimum financial literacy I should have, then I would say that you don't need to get involved with day-to-day accounting, but you need at least three financial state, like the balance sheet, the profit and loss account, और कैश का जो रोल प्ले करता है इज द कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट. और यही कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट को अगर मैं डिग डाउन करूं, देन आई वुड से कैश बजटिंग, because cash flow statement might be prepared for a period of 1 year, but when I say cash budgeting, that would give me an highlights कि मेरा ये मंथ में या नेक्स्ट मंथ में या नेक्स्ट के नेक्स्ट मंथ में कितना कैश आउटफ्लो होने वाला है. सेकेंड स्टेज जो मैं फाउंडर्स को कहूँगा कि दे शुड इक्विप विद द डैशबोर्ड, कि उनको भले अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर या भले सॉफ्टवेयर कोई भी यूज होता हो, दे शुड हैव सम सॉर्ट ऑफ डैशबोर्ड व्हिच गिव्स देम अ क्विक ग्लिम्स ऑफ देयर बिजनेस, कि उनका आज सेल्स कितना हुआ, मंथ ऑन मंथ सेल्स कितना बढ़ा है. So I feel technology would play a huge role as far as dashboard management is concerned, because that is what even I have been preaching to new CAs जो पूछते हैं कि हमारे मतलब ऑडिट के अलावा क्या नए एरियाज ऑफ प्रैक्टिस हो सकता है. सो आई फील डैशबोर्ड मैनेजमेंट, आइडेंटिफाइंग द राइट KPIs ऑफ द बिजनेस, क्योंकि हर एक बिजनेस के लिए अलग अलग पैरामीटर हो सकते हैं. किसी के लिए कस्टमर एक्विजिशन कॉस्ट जानने का इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो किसी के लिए लाइफ टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ कस्टमर इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो वी नीड द राइट सॉफ्टवेयर विच इज इंटीग्रेटेड विथ योर अकाउंट, सो कि अल्टीमेटली इनपुट तो मेरे अकाउंटिंग में से ही आएगा, but how to use that input and get a clear picture of how my business has been running is a task which I feel technology would play a huge role to do that. Even if you look at accounting, QuickBooks India में launch हुआ था, no doubt for some reason they have again withdrawn from India, but Zoho is one software which is doing well, and I believe ऐसे ही काफी दूसरे सॉफ्टवेयर्स भी है जो ये नीड फुलफिल करता है, टू इंटीग्रेट योर अकाउंट्स विथ योर पेरोल, टू इंटीग्रेट योर अकाउंट्स विथ योर KPIs, डैशबोर्ड मैनेजमेंट. सो आई वुड, so these are just, I'm just trying to coin some few words which can help the listeners to do a proper decision making once they finish the session.
When we are talking about cash management, one question that comes to the mind is cash is the lifeblood of a business, no doubt, and a business needs to generate enough of it to be able to meet its expenses and have enough left over to repay investors and grow their business altogether. What are the challenges faced by SMEs in maintaining their accounts payables and receivables?
So as you mentioned, Nitya, it's true that cash flow is the lifeblood for any startup or SMEs, because lot of time, like, cash is what allows your business to survive. Profitability एक अलग चीज है. आई कैन से कि आई एम रनिंग अ बिजनेस वेयर द प्रॉफिट मार्जिन इज से 30% और 35%, which may be good or which might attract to the founders. पर अल्टीमेटली अगर कैश नहीं होगा, देन द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी का मीनिंग नहीं है. Cash management is also equally important because there are a lot of business where there is a good profitability, but they have to pay their creditors, say in upfront or in advance, and they would be getting money from the debtors or the receivables, say after 3 months or 4 months. So वहाँ पे cash management काफी important हो जाता है, particularly in business where the credit cycle is less and the debtor cycle is more. So that is a major challenge where what we call as working capital management. So the founder should know from first कि कितना इंतजाम करना है फ्यूचर कैश फ्लोज के हिसाब से, to take care of the working capital management, particularly when he wants to tap some good opportunities. काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि we are running a routine business on an opportunity comes up where we are required to say deliver an order of 10x, कि अभी तक मैं हर मंथ से 100 प्रोडक्ट्स बना रहा था और अचानक एक बड़ी कंपनी से ऑर्डर आया कि मुझे 1000 प्रोडक्ट बना के देना है. So at that time I should be equipped with proper funding, because when I deal with such big car companies, they would want some sort of capital to be blocked into my inventory, some sort of capital to be blocked into even my raw materials. तो उसको मैनेज करने के लिए आई फील कैश मैनेजमेंट टूल होना चाहिए, बिकॉज आई शुड एग्जैक्टली नो व्हाट इज द नेगेटिव कैश बैलेंस which is coming through the cash management tool. And once I know the negative cash balance, I can fund that negative cash balance either through loan or through other means. If I talk about other means, 3 अच्छी प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में है जो मैं चाहूंगा कि हर एक एसएमई एक्सप्लोर कर सकता है. वन इज रेवेन्यू बेस्ड फिनेंसिंग. सो दैट वुड हेल्प कि जिनका ऑनलाइन बिजनेस है, काफी अमाउंट पेमेंट गेटवे के थ्रू ही आ रहा है, they can actually take help of revenue based financing. There are good companies. Recur Club is one company which we have been working with. I think Velocity is another company. So RBS is something which you can explore, is an innovative product. Invoice discounting is another form of taking care of cash management, or I would say working capital management. और कुछ companies ऐसी है जहाँ पे they act as a mediator where they would buy from my creditors. मतलब वो लोग मेरे क्रेडिटर से बाई करेंगे और मुझे क्रेडिट पीरियड लंबा देंगे. एंड सो समथिंग डिफरेंट फ्रॉम कैश डिस्काउंटिंग, बट इट्स अगेन अ गुड मॉडल वेयर लॉट ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स हैव रेज्ड फंड going through that model. So power to SME is one company who does that they would buy from my creditors, and then I have to buy it from them, and I can take a good credit period in that terms. There are platforms like Grip Invest which provides invoice financing or invoice discounting model. So lot of things are happening around this space which helps the startups to tackle the cash management solution.
So, even if a company is making profit by making more revenue than it incurs in the expenses, it will have to manage its cash flow correctly to be successful. What are the benefits of good cash management for SMEs?
Okay. So see, a few benefits I already covered, but major जो startup से जब मैं बात करता हूँ, so generally I ask them the question that how much amount do you want to raise? मतलब आपको 1 करोड़ रेस करना है, 2 करोड़ रेस करना है, एंड मेनी टाइम्स आई गेट अ रिप्लाई फ्रॉम देम कि सर 1 करोड़ भी चलेगा, लेकिन आप 2 करोड़ करवा सकते हो, 2 करोड़ कर दो. 2 करोड़ नहीं हो सकता, 50 लाख दे दोगे तो भी चलेगा. सो दे आर नॉट श्योर एग्जैक्टली हाउ मच दे वांट टू रेस. सो आई ऑलवेज आस्क द क्वेश्चन कि you should know what amount has to be raised and where it is going to be deployed. So अगर उनको ये पता ही नहीं है कि कितना अमाउंट रेस करना है, then what exercise I do is I prepare a cash budgeting, a monthly analysis कि आपको कहाँ कहाँ पे पैसा डिप्लॉय करना है. अगर वो कहता है कि मुझे इंस्टाग्राम की एड रन करनी है, तो कितनी एड रन करनी है, उसमें से कितने लीड्स आ सकते हैं, वो लीड्स में से कितना कन्वर्जन होगा, और वो कन्वर्जन में से कितना रेवेन्यू आएगा. So if you typically take a D2C startup who is selling some product online through their website, so an interesting exercise which I carry is कि मैं उनको पूछता हूँ कि आपने पास्ट में कितने फेसबुक इंस्टाग्राम के एड कैंपेन रन किए हैं, उसका ROI स्टडी करूंगा, एंड देन आई एनालाइज कि अगर अगर उन्होंने 20,000 की एड रन की है और वो सेम कैंपेन में अगर मैं 2 लाख इन्फ्यूज करता हूँ, देन व्हाट वुड बी द सिनेरियो. बेस्ड ऑन दैट आई प्रिपेयर अ फ्यूचर कैश फ्लो एनालिसिस, और जो मैक्सिमम क्यूमुलेटिव कैश जो नेगेटिव आ रहा है, इट माइट बी से 85 lakhs नेगेटिव, like then that is the actual amount which is to be raised. Because see, if they raise more than that, then the amount would be like lying idle in the bank, and as a finance person we know that idle money is a crime. तो वो भी नहीं होने देना है. So one is of course when you are going for fundraising, you should know through your cash budgeting or cash flow statement कि कितना पैसा raise करना है. And you should also tell the investors, because none of the investors also want कि उनका high risk capital idle पड़ा रहे. सेकेंडली बजटिंग, कि मुझे अगर ये समझना है कि सपोज द कोविड पेंडेमिक हैज हिट एंड आई वाज गोइंग वेरी एग्रेसिव इनटू द बिजनेस एंड आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड द सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस, कि अगर मैं एग्रेसिव के बदले कंजर्वेटिव व्यू लेता हूँ तो मेरे बिजनेस में तो मिनिमम कैश मुझे कितना चाहिएगा. So whenever I'm hit by some, say, COVID is just one major example, because a lot of business dynamics have changed during the COVID period. Some business models have totally shooten up and some business models have subsided. So, but there are various other risks which are affecting the business. तो वो रिस्क से मेरे बिजनेस में क्या अफेक्ट हो सकता है, सो दैट आई डोंट हैव टू टेक अ एडहॉक डिसीजन कि कल के कल मुझे 1000 वर्कर्स को ले ऑफ करना है. ऐसा कोई डिसीजन मुझे एडहॉकली नहीं लेना पड़े, इसलिए भी जरूरी है that I should know that even if I go by the conservative view, so I always prepare 3 scenarios whenever I do a cash budgeting. One is the conservative scenario, one is the optimistic scenario जो मैं achieve करना generally चाहता हूँ, and one is the aggressive scenario that if I go aggressive on the market, if I start doing all sort of ads, तो मैं कहाँ तक पहुँच सकता हूँ. So this scenario analysis and sensitivity analysis revolving around cash budgeting does help the business to take a better decision and an informed decisions among the management.
This we were just talking about how SMEs, like there are many multiple companies available outside that are helping SMEs to grow. This directs us to the tech person among us, Gayatri. Growing business do not have the liberty of large teams for specified functions. What are the fields today that are now being automated to ease their loads out?
Right. So in fact, if we see that, it is very good time to be an SME in India today, because India is digitizing very rapidly, right? And even faster than many other countries which are looking towards us for like UPI and GST and all of that, right? So many government departments are also focusing on making it accessible to all SMEs as well, right? So CBIC, CBDT, all of that. So right from the setup to the day-to-day processes to taxation and compliance, all of that can be achieved digitally. And right, like you rightly mentioned, with smaller teams also the same output can be achieved, right? So however, one point remains that these SMEs have to be digitized to make use of the automation that is available. So that gap we do see, and I think it's a right time for these SMEs to actually get on board. And there are multiple fintech players also offering, as CA Mehul will also know, offering these specific services for these SMEs to get end-to-end digitized, so that they can achieve the fast growth that are there. So a lot of business processes and compliances as well.
Talking about taking business one step sorry Talking about taking business one step ahead, SME requires loans for growth too. Businesses, because of their limited assets, fail to provide the requisite collateral or securities to access these loans. What are the factors that influence the availability of credit for SMEs? This question is for Mehul.
If I talk about the factors that influence the availability of credit, I would say there are 5 C's. First C is the character, second collateral, third capacity, fourth is the capital, and the fifth is the condition. So if I just need to break down, character defines your credibility as a person, as a founder in the market. So that is the first point where which would define your influence as far as availability of credit is concerned. Second is collateral, because whenever there is some sort of lending, the bank or the scheme of the government would expect some sort of collateral against that, against the funding, कि मैं क्या उसके अगेंस्ट में हाइपोथिकेट कर सकता हूँ या एज अ सिक्योरिटी दे सकता हूँ. थर्ड इज द कैपेसिटी. सो कैपेसिटी कम्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ गारंटी, डायरेक्टर्स गारंटी, फाउंडर्स गारंटी, या फिर मेरी क्रेडिट वर्दीनेस कितनी है. सम माइट गो थ्रू माय प्रीवियस ईयर ITRs, income tax returns, to judge my capacity to repay the loan. and capacity to repay the loan also comes from the financial modeling or the project report which I have submitted. कि फ्यूचर में ये पैसा डिप्लॉय होगा, फिर क्या मैं उतना कैश फ्लो जनरेट कर सकता हूँ कि मैं लोन चुका सकूँ. द फोर्थ वन इज द कैपिटल, बिकॉज एनी पर्सन हु इज फंडिंग मी वुड रिक्वायर कि मैं मेरा खुद का कैपिटल भी उतना डालूं. So many times, like banks also calculate the debt equity ratio, and they might also want us to infuse more capital before they give me any further loan. And the fourth is the condition. So condition may be from both the ends. अगर interest rate ज़्यादा लगता है, and if I have some alternative source of finance which reduces my cost of capital, I might also want to go with the alternative source of finance. So a lot of professionals and CAs also work in a way कि वो कम से कम cost आने दे company को, because for any funding it is the cost for the company as far as interest is concerned. So when I talk about conditions, the conditions might pertain to repayment, it might pertain to the security which I have to give, it might pertain to any other paperwork which I have to do additionally. So these are the 5 factors. अगर मैं startup की बात करूं, then there are a lot of government schemes I would say at present which give you collateral free loan. So typically if I talk about a government scheme called central government का scheme है Startup India Seed Funding Scheme. So it either gives you a 20 lakh grant which is applicable to startups. So even SMEs can apply for a startup registration. So when can SMEs apply for startup registration is when you are doing something innovative or something scalable. So these are the 2 words which the central government has defined कि या तो आप कोई innovation करो. So innovation is equilateral to the disruption जो हम internationally इंडिया के बाहर disruption is the word which they use for startups. यहाँ पे हमारी गवर्नमेंट इनोवेशन यूज करती है which is somewhat milder, which and scalability. And scalability can come in the form of wealth creation or employment generation. So ये अगर condition satisfy होती है तो even SMEs can apply for startup certificate which is called as DPIIT certificate. And once they apply for this DPIIT certificate, they can get access to this 20 lakh ka grant or 50 lakh ka seed funding. So seed funding is in the form of convertible debenture. So I don't have to repay the principal amount, but based on my future valuation, the principal amount would be get converted into equity. And this would be dispersed through various incubation centers which the government have set up. I think there are more than 150 incubation centers जिनके through मुझे fund disperse होता है. And I think SMEs का काम नहीं करता, but SMEs also has some good, I think CG, MSc scheme and various other schemes are there for SMEs also to take care of the funding or the credit as far as the government is concerned. And as I mentioned, there are various products which you might explore. Revenue based financing हो गया, या there are some companies like Mensa who would help particular D2C startups to grow. So there are a lot of acceleration programs by Flipkart, Amazon. So any startup can participate in those acceleration programs to get access to those funds.
Whether you need
So again,
to
Nitya, I'm just trying
expand your...
to create some...
Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm saying I'm just trying to again coin some few words कि acceleration programs होते हैं, इस type के products होते हैं. So I'm expecting the audience to just Google it out and the benefit of those newer programs which are there in the last 3 years. ये सब आया है.
So there are multiple options available nowadays. All you need to is to get out there, explore your options and find the right one for you. So the other thing is that whether you need to expand your operations, cover unexpected cost, or need some extra cash to keep your business afloat, a loan can be a great option. But with that comes many barriers that SMEs face when it comes to funding. Like, even if there are many options available out, there are many like certain requirements that SMEs cannot meet at certain times. So what about that?
So as far as other options are concerned, again, I would say there is a huge community around startups which is building up. So rather than naming the options, I would want the startups and the SMEs to go out and attend these events, be a part of these webinars, various. So one webinar, as you are conducting a sort of awareness for these products. So I would say be a part of this community, be a part of the whole ecosystem. There are a lot of co-working spaces across the city, tier 1, tier 2 city में काफी co-working space खुले हैं. हर एक co-working space में भी कुछ ना कुछ events होते हैं. Because जो ऑल्टरनेटिव फिनेंस का जो प्रोडक्ट बना रहे वो भी एक तरीके से नया है, वो भी एक स्टार्टअप है, वो भी जो फिनटेक प्रोडक्ट्स है उनको भी आरबीआई की परमिशन लेनी है, नहीं लेनी है, वॉलेट बनाना तो सेमी वॉलेट बनाना चाहिए, क्लोज वॉलेट होता है, सेमी वॉलेट होता है, ओपन वॉलेट, तो दे आल्सो आर एज इनोवेटिव when they want to define their product. At the same time, there are startups who want to make use of this innovative product to make sure कि हम लोन के अलावा कुछ और कर सकते हैं, नहीं कर सकते. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इवन फंडिंग में भी काफी इनोवेशन आया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल गवर्नमेंट हैज, अभी तक मुझे मतलब 3 साल पहले मुझे ऐसा था कि आइधर कंपनी में लोन होता है या इक्विटी होती है, बट नाउ आई रियलाइज कि इक्विटी में भी देयर आर प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स थ्रू विच स्टार्टअप इन्वेस्टमेंट इज डन. There are convertible notes through which startup investment is done because an investor would give a loan. So there is a recent news that the company boat have deferred their IPO and they have raised 500 crores through convertible note. So convertible note is entirely an innovative instrument through which you can infuse fund into your company which would be converted into a future valuation. So अभी जो फंडिंग विंटर की बात हो रही थी, so there are VCs who are very dicey as far as valuation is concerned. So in such period of funding winter, this kind of innovative instruments to raise fund would help the company to grow further. So I name it very differently. I call it deal structuring. कि लोन के अलावा कुछ भी आपको करना है, I say it's a deal structuring, as a role of deal structuring, where either you can make use of innovative products of funding, or you may make use of the innovative legal structure जिसके थ्रू इन्वेस्टर्स को कंफर्ट जोन आता है खराब पीरियड में भी आपकी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करने का.
So the next I'll like to move
the alternative.
With this, I'd like to move to Gayatri. With Vayana Network, we focus on the 4 Cs. And the option to avail loans is vast, but business often fail to come up with the proper requisites for it. What are your Mehul just highlighted a lot of options that are available. If you would like to add your views.
Right, absolutely. So he highlighted that there is, asset-based or cash flow-based, which is fairly new. And in terms of SMEs in India, if you see, and anywhere, but especially in India, because we are talking about India right now, the asset size or asset base will be limited, right? So that is where the new method or new way, which is cash flow-based, is helping a lot. So that is where Vayana is actually making a lot of difference to these SMEs for availing the credit. And Mehul also pointed out the cash flow, the DSOs, large DSOs, lengthy DSOs, So all of that is being, if that is being taken care of, then the working capital gap, that is being addressed. So a real impact is being made for growth, because otherwise it is, if you're not growing, you don't have an asset base, and then again you're not getting that asset based lending. So that is the real impact we see on the field day to day, and the customers are why they are continuing with Vayana, and all the banks are also actually seeing the impact. That is where we are actually, and the founder is also very keen on making this difference in the market actually.
So on the professional front, Mehul has acted as an authorized representative for 100 plus startups for getting them recognition and eligible for benefits under the Startup India scheme of the Government of India. Mehul sir, what are the benefits of getting a startup registered under Startup India scheme?
So see, there are like 4 steps, I would say. First is you need to prove that you are doing something innovative or scalable, as I mentioned, both the parameters. So that is the first milestone you need to do, is take a DPIT registration, where you get a DPIT number. So in the eyes of the government, now you are a startup. So once you are a startup, you get small, if I say baby steps towards getting the benefit, then it is in terms of tender. मतलब आप कोई भी टेंडर के लिए अप्लाई करते हो तो you are competing with bigger giants. So there are leeways where you are okay, like the government is okay कि अगर आपका उतना experience नहीं है या फिर उतना turnover का limit नहीं है. Then there are few private players who also joined the Startup India initiative by Narendra Modi ji, where they have offered some free services फॉर एग्जांपल जोहो का सॉफ्टवेयर फ्री है, AWS का क्लाउड क्रेडिट है, तो पर्टिकुलर टेक कंपनीज को $5,000 की सर्वर के लिए क्लाउड क्रेडिट फ्री मिलती है. The main taxation angle से benefit का हूँ, then there is a new section, a deeming section called Section 56, where any company, any private limited company who is raising funds at a premium, the premium is deemed to be gift for the company. The premium is like deemingly taxed कि अगर आप 100 rupees के shares issue करते हो at a 90 rupees premium, तो prima facie government wants to tax that 90 rupees. So वो 90 rupees टैक्स उसको कहते हैं, वो एंजल टैक्स बचाना है. देन देयर इज अ रूट थ्रू स्टार्टअप इंडिया स्कीम वेयर यू कैन सेव दैट एंजल टैक्स. देयर इज अगेन अ कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स वेवर और आई वुड से टैक्स हॉलिडे फॉर 3 years थ्रू द स्टार्टअप इंडिया स्कीम, जहाँ पे स्टार्टअप को 3 साल तक टैक्स पे नहीं करना आउट ऑफ द फर्स्ट 10 years. तो दैट कैन बी ऑप्टेड और अवेल्ड. एंड एज आई मेंशन्ड अर्लियर, जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की स्टार्टअप इंडिया सीड फंडिंग स्कीम है, which qualifies you as a for a 20 lakh loan and a 50 lakh rupees funding in a form of convertible debenture or a pure loan, उसके लिए आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो. उसके लिए आपको स्टार्टअप का सर्टिफिकेट लेना जरूरी है. सो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट यू नीड टू टेक द स्टार्टअप सर्टिफिकेट. आई वुड से गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट इज रियली वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट इनफ, startupindia.gov.in. आप वहां पे जाते हो, यू गेट एक्सेस टू ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन इन अ वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट फैशन. So I would say anyone who is listening to this video, go onto the website and try to understand the whole ecosystem around startups. And again, anyone can contact me offline if they want to just need access to few articles or books I have written, which I can forward it to them.
Your experience, we would really appreciate, like if you like your if your experience in the startup industry and your whatever you have experience in nowadays could come really handy when others see this video and like have try to have the first hand learnings from you in during this session. Now, Hylobiz strives to help business take their leap towards business growth and to eradicate the difficulties they face due to the lack of manpower. We work towards making business self-sufficient and digitize their journey. The platform is focused to create a space that is DIY user interface. And in today's session, Gayatri would take us through a short demo to understand Hylobiz in action and how Hylobiz comes into play to resolve the growing businesses problem. Now, I would like to leave the platform to you, Gayatri. You can take over now.
Yeah, thanks. I would like to also add to another that point of Startup India. I suppose the patent process is also fast tracked if in case one is registered in Startup India. So that is also, and little low cost, some concession is given. Right. So yeah, as Nitya rightly mentioned, so what Hylobiz is trying to make here, it's a very secured platform because that has to come first, I suppose. When we talk about any new platforms, it's ISO certified, secured, and what we are trying to do here is that we are helping digitize the business processes. So the owner can again focus on the core rather than running around with the allied activities. So when we are talking about business processes, we are including, invoicing, helping invoicing, collect collections, again, towards DSOs, which is the pain point of the small companies. Compliances and reporting. Reporting is also one point that Mehul was mentioning earlier. So Hylobiz is having excellent dashboards, and some real-time reporting can actually be enabled with digitization and such automation. So I will quickly show that as well. So what Hylobiz is doing is that we are connected to the payment gateways, right? So as to enable collections. And right, I hope you see my screen. Nitya, is my screen
Yes.
visible? Yes. Yeah, okay. So we are having a web application and Android and iOS app as well, right? So it is, let me just quickly sign in and I can run you through the platform, right? So this is the dashboard that I was talking about, right? And what we are also doing is that because SMEs owners are on the go handling multiple activities at a time, they would want reports handy on the go, right? So we are also enabled all of these dashboard reports via WhatsApp. If one has I just have to enter my WhatsApp number and I can get all of these reports via WhatsApp. So if you see, the key areas one would want to see is that, like, how are my collections looking? Top, who are my top debtors? What has been the trend? I could go and similarly take a look at the payouts, or let's say collections for the last 14 days. All of this I can view at a snapshot, and we are adding these reports as we speak, right? So we are constantly enhancing all the reportings and this dashboard as we hear closely from the SMEs. That's where we work with SMEs to solve their day-to-day problems, right? So another point, if we see again, was the receivables that we were talking about. So what Hylobiz also offers is direct integration with the ERP systems that these mid-sized companies or small companies are working with, typically using, right? So what that helps is to actually pull that data or sync that data with this Hylobiz platform, then enable a lot of automated collections processes. So I can go and configure when I actually want to send out the reminders. The reminders will go with the payment gateways. I can send a payment link and the collections will happen. And because it is all end-to-end synced, it will also show me a reconciled report at the real time, basically, right? So let's say I will just quickly let's say I want to send a collect payment request, and I have a new new buyer that I want to send this request to. Okay, so it can be as simple as that. I could just send a request from here, or like I said, the entire process can be linked with ERPs, and also a reverse feed can go to your ERP so that you can view the status as on that platform as well as this platform. Okay, so and so let's say I have to send a quick collections with my invoice reference and everything. Okay, and again, we have all the inbuilt dedupe checks and everything. So there is no reconciliation issue later on with the invoice number and etc. So I can just click and uncheck or check the attach secure payment links. And if I have done all the KYC required for the PG, then I could just I could attach a document if I want, which is the actual invoice, and or I can just send and that is it. A reminder is sent to this mobile number and this email address. So what I will get in this email address is a payment link. Okay, so I could also share it via WhatsApp here directly, apart from this email having been sent. Just let me show you that email, how easy it is for the user as a buyer. I get to see that and make the payment immediately. So, So if you see, this has just arrived, right, in my email address, a payment request of whatever details I put, I have got, and I also have got an SMS from Hylobiz saying that this is the requested amount and everything. So I can just go pay now and follow the process. It will take me it will give me all the options: net banking, UPI, credit card, debit card, all of that. It will clearly show me what the convenience fees are, and I can continue. Okay, or else I can also take a look at the ledger. So when we talk about small entities being unorganized, there is a possibility of some reconciliation issues that arise. So I can take a look at my ledger with this particular seller immediately as a buyer, right? This is a digital ledger. So right now I created a new buyer. That's why we see only one transaction, but otherwise you get to see everything. So I can make the payment and proceed accordingly. And again, with the payments and everything, I will get alerts. So if I have registered as a business owner, on this platform, I will get an alert immediately on payment and collections. So both as a buyer and seller, right? So I hope that was useful for automating a lot of the collections, which can otherwise the business owner have to actually step out, go to the market, and you know uh, by actually talking and spending a lot of time, I have to make the collections happen. So similarly,
Even if
we
not, even if not going to the market, the tedious cycle of onboarding and following for the payments is very huge, and it's time consuming as well.
it is time consuming. It is time consuming. Then similarly, there is a lot of uh, payables also, a lot of configuration I can do after I sync my ERP here. I can get a view of the entire invoices, and I can enable payments from here. I can make payments from here, and similarly a ledger and reconciliation, everything is available, right? So and we were also talking about easy compliances, right? So what Hylobiz offers is e-invoicing and e-bills also from the platform, right? So in just I only have to set up my IRP credentials, and I can get started with the invoice creations and e-way bill creations, right? So since we spoke about, we also spoke about the access controls, right? As a user, I may have a small team, but I still want to control what accesses I give them. Not everyone, so I can create multiple users and give them different accesses, right? So that in within a small team also, I can automate and I can ensure that there is good controls over what anyone or what my collections and my payments essentially. So what otherwise we are also offering is, because now a lot many things happen touch free, right? So APIs is the next way to go. So we are offering multiple services that we are offering on the platform are also available in the form of APIs,
Hmm.
right? And you saw it's a simple onboarding journey. A lot of my information is actually getting verified and validated on the go, so I do not have any issues of incorrect information put at the time of sign up, and then later on having issues like it's not matching with the KYC that I need to give for my payment gateway integrations or my financing journey, right? Financing also I can quickly show. So here is a tab that we are having a tie-ups with banks and NBFCs for offering finances. There's multiple more as well, right? And structured supply chain financing solutions are also offered. So anything specific, Nitya, you would want to touch base on right now?
If we have covered the brief overview about the platform, I think this would suffice.
Right. I would encourage everyone to just take a look, uh, and it is very intuitive, right? There is hardly any demo required. It is intuitive and it is secured. I would like to say. I would highlight that again. So,
Everything is just right in front of you, in front of your eyes. You can access it accordingly as accordingly you want. Easy to access, easy to sign up, get onboarded, and even explore the platform. Now, moving ahead, small and medium enterprises are the backbone of socio-economic development of any country, and the vision that Hylobiz holds to digitize and empower the SMEs is something we vouch for. More power to the growing businesses out there. Also, not to miss out on our referral program where you can bring your business buddies to Hylobiz platform and transform the way you do business with them or they do business. Refer Hylobiz to other businesses and help them achieve good business health, steady growth through digitization and business process automation. You can earn monetary rewards as the referred entity generates invoices. A successful referral can earn you an incentive there where the chances receive a SaaS revenue share. We are waiting for you to bring in your friends, bring them fold and grow together. I would also like to extend a hearty thanks to CA Mr. Mehul Shah and Gayatri Joshi for taking out your precious time that you have shared with us today during this session.
Thanks, Nitya.
We will now be
Glad to be
folding
here.
the session. Thank you very much.